Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live from our studios here at Kokomlemle. It's Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, it's live on Love 99.5 FM and affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including A1 Radio in Bogatanga, Clenham Radio in Bato, and Pad FM in Damango. You can also download the My Joy Online app from Play Store and App Store to listen live around the world. In this edition, money refunded, case is closed. Chairman of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee that investigated the Sputnik procurement deal says there is nothing more to demand as Sheikh Al Maktoum refunds to Ghana $2.4 million for vaccines not supplied.
If you ask me whether or not the committee would have any further action to take, I would say no, because in our recommendation, we stated that the Ministry of Finance should take steps to seek refund. It is done, and today it closes the matter.
But as calls for the health minister's resignations get louder, the deputy majority leader says those demanding it are ill-informed, insisting the minister never lied to the committee. Relatives of 3 accused persons standing trial for the murder of social media activist Ibrahim Mohammed in Nigeria disappointed as the court adjourned the case for the 4th time.
It has been adjourned to 7 September. Yeah, so we forwarded the duplicate docket to the Attorney General's office. And then they'll put their input, they'll peruse the docket and advise accordingly. But it's unfortunate that the trial judge couldn't wait, so we have to adjourn it.
Electoral Commission directs opposition NDC to put before IPAC its proposed electoral reforms. Meanwhile, governing NPP describes these proposals as bizarre and problematic.
The position of the NDC is a bit bizarre. And so I find it a bit problematic if NDC want to attribute their loss to the presence of EC commissioners.
We have details of that in sports.
Jeffrey President Keto Kreku has warned that perpetrators involved in the alleged match fixing scandal will face the full rigors of the law. Details in 20 minutes.
And later in showbiz.
Basically what I'm talking about is just cut your coat according to your size. People do things because of pressure.
Visuals for Panka's hit single Eka Befie featuring multiple award-winning artist Shatta Wale have dropped and social media is on fire with reactions. I have that and more in this edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Many thanks for your company. This is your home of bold, credible, and fearless journalism. And this afternoon, the United Arab Emirates-based agent in Ghana's botched attempt to procure Sputnik V vaccines, Sheikh Ahmed Dalmouk Al Maktoum, has finally refunded the sum of $2.47 million to the government. That's according to chairman of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee that investigated the Sputnik procurement deal, Alexander Afenyomaking. Now, he says the money represents the remaining amount for the non-supplied doses of the vaccines. With this out of the way, Mr. Afenyomaking says there is nothing more to ask and the country must consider the matter closed. More on him shortly, but first let's bring you up to speed on what we know, and my colleague Raymond Akwa joins me in studio for more. Raymond, walk us through the letter from the Sheikh on the payment.
Well, it's dated the 11th of August 2021. It's actually directed to the minister, the chief director of the Ministry of Health, Kwabena Boadu Oku Afari. Now, it's actually headlined refund to the government of Ghana on the balance payment for 300,000 doses of Sputnik V vaccine. And it says, please reciprocate my best wishes to the Honorable Minister and send my compliments to the ministry and his team. We acknowledge receipt of your letter, and it mentions the reference number dated 10th of August 2021 regarding the refund of the balance of payment to the government of Ghana for the supply of the Sputnik V vaccine. The requested amount of $2,470,000 United States dollars has already been refunded to the designated bank account as communicated by you. The SWIFT and the payment advice for the refund is hereby attached for your reference and record. We also confirm that no funds have ever been drawn under the LC. Also, kindly note that the LC stands expired since June 2021 and is no longer a valid legal instrument issued in our favor. Kindly issue us a receipt, a payment receipt, once the funds have been credited into the government bank account. We look forward to working on future endeavors with the ministry and your government to further enhance the bilateral relationship between our two brotherly countries. Please accept my highest commitment and assurance in this regard. And it's signed by the Sheikh Al Maktoum, and he says he's a member of the ruling family of Dubai, United Arab Emirates. It's actually copied to the Minister for Health, the Minister for Finance, Deputy Ministers of Health, the Head of Legal Affairs, and the Minister of Health.
But we're yet to see any evidence whether the money has indeed reflected in our accounts.
Except for what they claim they attached as the records of the transaction.
Okay. Thank you very much, Raymond Aqua there. We're following through with this and we'll bring you more on this. But Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Afenyomarkin, who chaired the committee that probed the deal, confirms receipt of the money and says there is nothing more to demand of the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman-Manu.
Let me confirm on good authority that indeed the payment has been made, the refund has been made. To me, the major concern of Ghanaians in all of these was possible financial loss to the state. The minister, like I said in my debate, was sincere and candid in everything he did. Information flow to us, written evidence to us, and all of that. This goes to confirm that the minister did not lie when he said at all material times he knew he was dealing with a credible entity. And this flows from, one, the letter they wrote saying that they could not supply the rest, and the fact that they were willing to refund the unsupplied doses. Today, by the grace of God, the funds have fully landed in the account of government of Ghana. People have had all the twists to this whole thing. The minister has been at the receiving end because even statement of fact that he made for some convenience, people decided to twist it. But this is public service. This is politics. But he's been firm and been consistent in everything regarding this whole situation. And today, we have the funds back. If you ask me whether or not the committee would have any further action to take, I would say no. Because in our recommendation, we stated that he should take the Ministry of Finance should take steps to seek refund of the difference. But the Ministry of Health, rather, consistent with its earlier response to her, has been proactive in ensuring that it is done. And today, it closes the matter.
But despite the payment of the money, the calls for the health minister to resign is still growing by the day. Proponents of the call say the minister erred and it is not fit to hold a public office. But the deputy majority leader, Alex Afenyomarkin, says the call is misplaced because the minister never lied.
Where there was a need to look at other sources because of failure by bilateral sources to supply, he, as a minister, had a responsibility to take a ministerial decision. There's nothing like he did not get cabinet approval. That is neither here nor there. And the fact must be correctly stated.
But again, you have been listening to commentary in the media space, and this is not coming from only politicians. We also heard people in the civil society group. Lawyer Martin Pebu, for example, is insisting that the minister must resign or be forced out because of what he claims that he lied when he appeared before your committee when he said that he was unaware that money had been paid, which it turned out to be that the finance ministry had actually advanced over $2 million to the Sheikh. He says that constitutes perjury and that Parliament must look into it. He thinks that the minister must resign. That call is supported by a lot of civil society groups. Do you feel that they are right in demanding that?
He got it wrong. It is not our findings that the minister lied to us. It's because, you see, people are not reading the facts. When the issue of the minister having lied to us came up, we went back to the recording of the day. The majority leader called in the audio, and we all listened to it. And that is the reason why our colleagues in the minority even changed their position and agreed that indeed The minister never lied to us by saying that no payment had been made. Why are people suddenly forgetting that, yes, ministries work together, but it is sometimes not possible to know at a particular point in time that a thing has been done or not done. The Minister of Health explained to us that at that material point in time, he was not aware whether any payment had been made. He never said emphatically that no payment had been made. He went on further to assure us that he would do a follow-up on it. It was the minister who wrote. The finance ministry also wrote. But you see, in the finance minister's letter, he wrote about releases he had made for the payment of the vaccine, which is different from actual payment. Can people pay attention to the details and be fair to the minister rather than calling him a liar? The Minister of Health never lied. Let's be fair as a people. And
that's the Deputy Majority Leader and also the Chairman of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee that investigated the Sputnik procurement deal. So, should the payment of the monies by Sheikh Ahmed Dalmouk Al Maktoum put to rest the controversy surrounding this matter? Let's bring in Edem Senanu of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. He's an anti-corruption campaigner as well. Many thanks for your company here on the Midday News. So, you've listened to the Chairman of that committee. The minister, he says, did not lie to the committee. It was also their recommendation that the money should be retrieved and that steps have been taken for that to happen. So the case must be closed. You agree?
Respectfully and seriously, no, absolutely not. I think that let's not begin to confuse issues. The matter of lying is just one of the substantive issues. For us as civil society, the key issue is the breach of our laws. The minister was obliged to follow the laws of this country. He was given good counsel by the Attorney General, Godfrey Dami, who said, you need to get parliamentary approval. It's an international agreement. He was required also to get Public Procurement Authority approval. The minister failed. He breached all these laws, and he proceeded to even trigger the process of payment when the 50% consignment, as required by even the contract it did, had not reached the shores of this country. Subsequent investigations suggest that they had not even made the frontal approach to the embassy, the Russian embassy here, to have it facilitate a direct connection with the factory source for the supply of these vaccines. And that it was a follow-up, an afterthought, after they had already done the negotiations, that they appear to have written to these sources to see whether we could have direct access to these vaccines. Clearly speaking, the minister has not held that position in good trust for the people of this country.
Okay, so in spite of the payment, it does not settle the matter for you?
It does not settle the matter.
Okay.
In fact, we need to investigate how payment was made without all these supporting documentation. The paper trail must be dug into. What approvals moved this document to the extent that money was released when all the laws had been breached? How did that happen?
We're grateful for your time. That's Edem Senanu of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. Let me bring in the Minority Chief Whip, Mutaka Mubarak. He's also a member of Parliament's Health Committee. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. I'm sure you've been listening to the Deputy Majority Leader. He says that the minority, all of you agreed that the minister did not lie to the committee. All he said was that he was not aware that payment has been made. After all, the monies have been paid now. Case closed.
I mean, that is absolutely crazy to even imagine. One, that's not true. When he says we have agreed that the minister didn't lie, go pick the submissions on the floor. I concluded the submission on our side, and I reiterated, it is not possible for Ministry of Finance to make any payment on behalf of any agency when that agency is not the one instructing the ministry. And there's evidence to show that even when those payments were made, as far back as March, the minister was copied. The minister lied. That aside, we need to understand there are so many issues around this. One, the breach of the procurement process. Two, the failure to bring the matter to Parliament, even when the Attorney General has advised. Three, he lied under oath. These are not things that you say because money has been refunded. I mean, all the other issues are gone. I will advise my colleague, yes, we're in a democracy. Everybody can speak his mind, his or her mind. I will advise my colleague, the Deputy Majority Leader, it is better he stops talking. Because the more he talks, the more he insults the intelligence of the ordinary Ghanaian.
So your case of censure against the health minister still stands?
Definitely it's on. It is on. It is on. Because now it is even becoming clearer that the minister did it truly lie. Because now you have the Controller and Accountant General's letter, you have the Minister of Finance letter. All these things are pointing to the fact that it's the minister that gave the instructions.
Okay. We'll have to leave it here for now. That said, the Minority Chief Whip Mutaka Mubarak, we are grateful for your time. So staying on this controversial issue involving the Health Minister Kweku Agyemang, well, in less than 3 hours, the third edition of your politically incorrect show, State of Play, will focus on the political dynamics surrounding the embattled Health Minister. Our crack team of the best political analysts in the country will break down the issues. Of course, this is the show you can't miss today. Raymond Akwa, what are we to expect?
So basically, you would get to know if the man goes, what happens? If he stays on, what happens to the party, to the government, and also to the people in his constituency? Where are the pressure centers around this particular issue? And whether or not the president will make a decision on this matter. If he actually decides to sack him, what will be the implications, again, for the country, for the party, and also for governance in general? So the political angles from every very important end. You can also join us at 2:30 p.m.
2:30 on all our social media platforms. The big heads, they will be leading that. You don't want to miss it. Thank you very much, Raymond. Well, okay. So this is the Midday News here on Joy997 FM. We'll turn our attention to other stories now. And relatives of 3 accused persons standing trial for the murder of social media activist Ibrahim Mohammed in Nigeria were left disappointed as the court adjourned the case for the 4th time. Although relatives anxiously waited at the Asokwa District Court complex for the arrival of the 3, the prosecutor had asked for the case to be adjourned. Chief Superintendent Kofi Blagoji had prayed the court to adjourn the case as prosecution awaits advice from the Attorney General's Department on a duplicate case docket. My colleague Ohiming Teria was in court for us. He joins us on the line. Ohiming, run us through proceedings of the court today and those standing trial.
Yes, MFA Isaka Ibrahim, also known as Anyas Husseini Alasa, and Idi Mohammed have been appearing before the Asokwa District Court since they made their maiden appearance on July 2nd, 2020. Today in court, the family members and relatives and friends alike had gathered at the Asokwa District Court complex awaiting the arrival of the accused persons. But whilst majority of them wait at the frontage of the court complex, then the prosecutor, Chief Superintendent Kofi Blagoji, told the court to adjourn the case because the accused persons were yet to be transported in court. According to him, though the court waited for the accused persons, the late arrival forced the court to call the case and adjourn the case to September 7, 2020.
It has been adjourned to 7 September. Yeah, so we forwarded the duplicate docket to the Attorney General's office, and then they'll put their input, they'll peruse the docket and advise accordingly. No, they are on their way coming. But it's unfortunate that the trial judge couldn't wait, so we have to adjourn it. Okay. And as we indicated to the court, that we forwarded the docket to the AG's office. So definitely the AG has to peruse the docket, advise on it, then we'll see the way forward.
And obviously, Ohiming, the relatives of Kaka are unhappy with the situation.
For the relatives of Kaka, they say they are okay with the postponement and adjournment, except that the other people who were in court declined to speak to the media. They were the ones who were unhappy. A sister of Kaka, Rahina to Ibrahim, says for them they demand justice for their brother Idi Mohammed.
And they justice in any idea, yes, it's an insane minty, justice, an inti, to share than I me patro court and I have and ye per justice in the year, an inti, and tears to young carry justice in an year to say.
You heard the relatives of Kaka there interacting with my colleague Ohiming Terrier. Well, I'll stay on political issues a bit longer because the Jean Mensah-led Electoral Commission has directed the opposition NDC to table its proposed electoral reforms before the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC. The commission says it's open to receive suggestions and feedback aimed at enhancing the country's electoral process, but however, insists IPAC is the appropriate forum for such suggestions. The NDC compiled over 30 suggestions for electoral reforms. They include giving legal backing to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, with hitherto has been simply an advisory body which decisions are not binding. The NDC also wants persons appointed by the President as chairperson of the Electoral Commission to go through parliamentary vetting. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson joins me with more on this. You've been checking with your sources at the Commission. What have they been telling you?
So the Commission says the NDC wrote to them last week. They responded to them and indicated to them that some of the concerns raised or the proposals clearly are not within their mandate. You mentioned the approval of EC nominees going to Parliament. The Commission says that is not within their mandate. It is the government or the executive that's supposed to do that. Again, designated courts to deal with electoral matters after election. The Commission says that's also not within their mandate. But however, those that are within their mandate, it is proper for the NDC to table them before IPAC. They don't want to have the situation where they'll be dealing with individual parties or open the floodgate for other parties to also submit their suggestions or their proposals to them. So they will soon convene an IPAC meeting. And so when they do that, the NDC has the opportunity to table all their concerns before them for discussion. And then at the meeting, they will take a resolution. But the Commission is clear. One of the things the NDC talked about was the scrapping of the regional collation centers. The Commission is clear that doing their own analysis and their own review, it really helped them in the last election. And so with that, they're not going to abolish it. However, if the NDC wants them to review it and better the process, of course, they are open to that. So this is the information I get from the Electoral Commission.
Thank you very much, Kwesi Parker-Wilson. So the governing NPP has described it as problematic. We've been joined on the phone by Evans Dimako, his Director of Elections for the NPP. We're grateful for your time. So over 30 proposals. You say they are problematic. Why?
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. I'm saying that the proposals of the NDC, they're entitled to it, but it's problematic and bizarre. The NDC have issues with the conduct of the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. The same election that was conducted by the EC, that they managed to obtain 137 seats in parliament. For that one, they don't have issue. But the presidential that they lost and went to court and lost again, they are challenging it and attributing their loss to the EC. They have a poor show. They couldn't perform well and they lost an elections. They are entitled to their views, as I've said. But the EC gave political parties opportunity to come to review the 2020 elections. That has been done. So today, if the EC is operating and NDC wants the appointment to be changed, they're entitled to it, as I've said. But for us as New Patriotic Party, under the 1992 Constitution, in this fourth Republican era, we've won elections in 2000 when the EC was not appointed by the NPP. We won 2020, 2016 when Madame Salotose was the EC. So we don't think that the problem is EC. The problem is the political party. Elections were conducted in over 38,000 polling stations. The New Patriotic Party organized itself, made huge representation, and we won.
Okay.
We are able to fulfill our campaign promises, and that's why we are able to get the buy-in of the Ghanaian voter population.
We're grateful for your time. That's Evans Dimako. He's the Director of Elections for the NPP. This is the Midday News here on Joy997 FM. Money refunded case is closed. That's according to Chairman of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee that investigated the Sputnik procurement deal and says there is nothing more to demand as Sheikh Al Maktoum refunds to Ghana $2.4 million for vaccines not supplied. We've been hearing from the Minority Chief Whip, Mutaka Mubarak, and as well as civil society. They say the case is nowhere near closure. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, we have sports, and then later in showbiz, visuals for Panka's hit single, Ekabefie, featuring multiple award-winning artists, Shatta Wale, have dropped, and social media is on fire with reactions.
Basically what I'm talking about is just cut your coat according to your size. People do things because of pressure.
This The boys are back, oh! The boys are back! Imagine inviting great footballers like Ronaldo, Messi, and Mbappe into your home. Imagine feeling the big mad temperament of football's fiercest rivals in your living room. Imagine enjoying the home ground advantage of witnessing the best of Serie A, La Liga, Premier League, UEFA Europa, and many more leagues all in English. Or stop imagining. Just get a GoTV decoder now at 89 Ghana cedis and upgrade to GoTV Max to turn your home into the home ground of great football. To purchase a new decoder, SMS GoTV to short code 1731. GoTV. Love it.
Drama from day one.
Many thanks for your company. Let's do sports now. Asai Bediako, what do we have?
Jeffrey President Keto Kreku has vowed to clamp down on illegal betting by ensuring the punishment of those involved in the scandals. The latter part of the just-ended season was ruined by alleged match-fixing scandals, especially in the game between Ash Gold and Interallies, where defender Hashim Musa scored 2 own goals in his own words to spoil a bet. Investigations are ongoing, and Ket insists those found guilty will not go scot-free.
Our football has and was attacked by faceless cowards. I'm talking about betting. And it is my responsibility, and it's the responsibility of our executive to defend the passion of the nation. Everybody who has played a part, I'm talking about the faceless cowards, will face it. We'll clean our sports and we'll bring confidence to a sport that fits me, that fits all of us here. A sport that gives hope, aspirations to the entire 30 million people and beyond of this country. Don't call me, because you didn't call me when you wanted to play the role. To quote the former president of America, will chase them out of their hiding places, bring them to justice.
Keto Kreku is president of the Ghana Football Association. That's the sports for now. Back to you, MFA.
Thank you very much, Asari Original PO. It's time for our Drive Safe campaign.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
After the much talked about road safety documentary titled Crushed, Joy News is back with a sequel. The new episode, dubbed Crushed Young, tells the stories of children getting maimed and killed on Ghana's dangerous roads. This excerpt features 2 children who have lost their limbs after getting knocked down.
By the close of this week, 6 children would have been killed through road traffic accidents in Ghana. For some of them who survive these fatal crashes, they end up with permanent disabilities.
My teacher asked me to go for printing and extra classes fees, and on my way, a car knocked me. I asked my mother why. Why am I in the hospital? And I also asked why my leg has been amputated. She told me a vehicle ran over my legs and crushed the bones.
The system itself is not recognizing the harm that is being caused to these children and their families.
Some of these children have even been killed and buried already by the police because they were never identified.
Sometimes we don't get the relatives coming, so then we have to mass bury them.
That's Crushed. We're premiering that, Crushed Young, on Monday, 4 p.m. at the Live Event Center inside the Kumasi City Mall. You can't miss it. It's time for Showbiz. So that's hip life artist Opanka's hit single, Ekabefi. Interesting song, and it features multiple award-winning Shatawale.
Yeah.
Why is there a lot of buzz around this particular song?
All right, there's a lot of buzz because a lot of people are relating to the song, and then they also like how Opanka and Shatawale really. Had a nice relationship on that. But we're talking to Opanka. Let's hear.
Basically what I'm talking about is just cut your coat according to your size. People do things because of pressure and they end up being in a mess. Don't follow pressure and do things you are not up to. So that is basically what a Kabefi is. And I do songs based on what I see, what I feel, or what is going on. Okay, I'm a Chelsea supporter, yeah? So on my way to the studio, I had a bet on Chelsea. And when I got to the studio, I had a notification. When I checked, Chelsea lost. So the huge money I had on Chelsea, everything went just like that. So I was like, whoa, I can't be here.
You understand the Kabefi?
Cut your cloth according to your size, Anna.
No.
It's
what? Made losses.
Made losses,
Yes.
yeah. Well, let's talk about a win for Ghana, because Shatta Wale is the first Ghanaian artist to be nominated for the MTV Music Video Awards.
Yeah,
And hashtag
and it's
Shatta Wale for MTV VMA is trending. So, pa.
Many thanks for Showbiz. That's my pizza CBD. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News. You're on Joy997 FM. On myjoyonline.com, Snakes loses $11.79 million from liquidation of 3 investments. Auditor General's report. Poor due diligence to blame for public institutions' difficulty in retrieving funds from collapsed financial companies. That's also from the Auditor General's report, amongst others. You can read for yourself on myjoyonline.com. Approve the things that are excellent. That's up next with Living Word with Pastor Menso Chabel. I am MFA Pau. Many thanks on behalf of the entire team.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can